another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence. And it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Sean.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay.
I'm terrific.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. Good.
Yeah, doing all right. Trying to think of what's going on this week. Well, there was just a Spider-Man trailer released.
There was. It came out yesterday.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday from when we taped this. I mean, I'm looking forward to that movie because at this point, I just look forward to all the Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. I don't really think there's one that, well, I mean, there's been a few that I've been kind of like, yeah. But at some point, I'm going to see it.
Sure.
And
well, in fairness, we never did see this most recent Spider-Man 3, was it? The one with Jamie Foxx and...
Oh, well, no. Yeah, I guess technically, yes. Yeah,
we never saw Paul Giamatti.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
that's
with Andrew Garfield, right?
Yeah.
We never saw that one.
That's true, we didn't.
Still to this day, I've not seen it.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Because I just didn't care.
But they released a trailer for, is it Spider-Man No Way Home?
No Way Home, yeah.
Too much home.
Yeah, it gets a little confusing because I realize what they're trying to do, but I get them mixed up.
Yeah. I have
Far From Home, No Way Home, and...
Homecoming. So, yeah. But he is, Spider-Man, of course, is fucking with the realities or whatever. And we get some stuff coming up. And, apparently, according to the trailer, we've got Electro. So, I guess this could be Jamie Foxx.
That's the thing. I guess it's the multiverse. So, all the fabric rips because Doctor Strange fucked up his spell. So, you've got Electro. You've got Sandman. You've got the Lizard.
Doc
Ock.
Green Goblin.
And Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I saw anybody else in there.
I mean, there might be somebody else.
Sure. But I will say, and I said this on Twitter, and I will stand by this until this movie comes out, there is no way the other Spider-Men are not in that movie.
Yeah, I know. I feel like
it does not make any sense. I'm sure they digitally took them out of that shot where all the villains are, but it doesn't it doesn't make any sense to have all those villains and not have the other Spider-Man.
Get the eraser with the computer for the computer. Somebody just went scrub on the screen.
Yeah.
And took them out.
Yep.
But yeah, they're in there somehow.
They have to be.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it, I guess.
Sure.
I'm not really I've never really been crazy about the Spider-Man movies, but I mean, I enjoy them. Yeah, we'll see how this one turns out. What I am excited about, though, is Disney Plus announced a whole bunch of stuff.
It did.
Last time we taped, I think it was like the next day or a couple days, whatever. Mm-hmm. They announced like a shit ton more things because it was like Disney Plus Day or some shit. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, and we got to see a whole bunch of announcements and a little bit of footage.
Mm.
So we did see a little bit of footage for She-Hulk, which I'm interested in that. I like She-Hulk.
Yeah,
I think she's a great character.
I mean, you didn't really get to see a ton of her in this footage stuff that we saw.
I hope it's not bad.
I don't know the
CGI.
I don't know. The suit from the back looked really good.
It looked like her traditional, one of her traditional suits.
Yeah, and that looked pretty cool. I mean, I don't really know what to expect for the She-Hulk show. I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they're going to give us. But again, I go in with no expectations.
Right. So what else do we got here? Miss Marvel. I think they showed a little bit of that too.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming out in the summer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've never really been into that Miss Marvel. I mean, granted, I've never read a lot of it, so I can't really say. But it might be fun. I mean, all these are gonna be fun. What If Season 2? Which I want to watch What If Season 1. I feel like we're missing out on that.
I do too. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah. I feel like it would be a lot of good times. And I mean, there's, I feel like, we skipped on Loki and then we skipped on this.
We do need to go back to...
I guess we need to go back to both of those, but I'm really more interested in What If.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to that. They announced Echo, who... I believe she was one of the Young Avengers or like an event. She's in the Lego game, and I forgot what the hell she does. But she's got some sort of like sonic abilities. Or actually, I could be completely wrong. But I think there's something to do with her, and then I want to say Hawkeye, or either her and Daredevil. Something, I don't know much about her, but apparently we're doing an Echo series. Then we got Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is going to be...
Is it a cartoon?
It's a cartoon.
Oh. Is it like his freshman year of high school?
I think it's going to... I don't know. Because, so... Maybe college?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, are we jumping
I don't know.
back?
I know nothing about it.
Because, I mean, are we talking like...
It's a cartoon. You could start it in freshman year of high school.
I thought Spider-Man got his powers when he was like 16. You'd be a freshman. I mean,
you can retcon it so he could get them when he was a baby. I mean, it doesn't...
Oh, baby Spider-Man.
Baby Spider-Man.
Great.
So it crawls in his crib and it chomps. And then he's zipping around. It's like when Super Baby or whatever, when Superman's a baby, which is a fucking nightmare.
I think we're going to need some sort of like Crisis on Infinite Earths type of deal to mush together all these timelines that we're trying to create. You know, because Marvel's got, it's funny because people make fun of DC having all sorts of Earths, and shit. Marvel's got a whole shit ton of that stuff too. So don't cast stones in houses.
Okay.
What?
Was that directed at me?
No.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
I didn't
I didn't know if you were yelling at me.
You're walking around the house being like, fucking DC with their universes.
Yeah, it's true. That's all I do. I just walk around the house. I listen to some Red Taylor's version, and then I complain about DC's universes.
Yep, that's your day.
That's what I do.
I Am Groot animated series. We got Ironheart. I feel like that was announced before, maybe.
Oh, possible.
It sounds familiar. It seems familiar. Agatha, the House of Harkness. That's going to be a new one because Agatha Harkness was such a hit.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like I remember, like they had that song that was Agatha all along, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that like actually like, charted as a single.
Yeah.
So I mean that should be fun.
Yes.
That should be a fun show. We're doing an animated Marvel Zombies series.
Okay.
So that should be cool.
I
think they show up in What If. So I need again.
Okay.
We'll get an idea of that.
Well, we should actually watch that.
Yeah, I think we should. Secret Invasion, an original series. It's not going to be a cartoon. It's a live action. And I think they showed a little bit of it because they showed something with, I recall, Skrulls and Nick Fury, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that should be.
I didn't see a lot of the footage because a lot of it you actually had to go to Disney Plus to watch the footage.
There was like a trailer. Somebody had it available.
Somebody might have like pulled it, but a lot of it was like, go to Disney Plus to see this new footage, and I was like, no, thank you though. I'm busy. I'm doing other things.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I think that might be it. I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not. Oh, Moon Knight. Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What is it? Moon Knight. They showed a little bit of Moon Knight. Mm-hmm. We knew that was coming. That should. I don't know. I feel like they're going like the Harlan Ellison or whoever did it. Harlan Ellison. I don't know. I don't know who writes things anymore.
Oh yeah, I have no clue.
Warren Ellis.
Sure.
Warren Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
He had like a run on Moon Knight where like Moon Knight wore a suit, just like a black and white suit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what they're kind of basing that off of.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if there was footage, but there's definitely been like a lot more like promo for the Hawkeye series that's coming out.
Right. When that comes out on Christmas.
Yeah. Or around Christmas. And it's very, very clearly based off the Matt Fraction run.
Okay.
Because now they've got a dog on a poster that's winking and like.
A winking dog?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. And then we have what I think a lot of people are very excited for is X-Men 97.
Yeah, apparently going to be animated.
An original animated series, which presumably will pick up from the original animated series fell left on, or maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
Or maybe it's going to be something different. I'm definitely due for a rewatch on that. I think we started maybe
We
2
did.
episodes.
Yeah, I think we did.
I mean, unfortunately, that's kind of how it is with Disney Plus. You're like, man, I'm going to watch all this stuff, and then you just give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's what Disney Plus should be. Is like, give up.
Yeah. Try to watch something and then give up on it.
Yeah, give up. Just
Yeah.
fuck it. So, but I know I definitely do for a rewatch because I mean, there's like episodes. Like I remember really watching like the first season, but it was kind of like in a period of my life where I was like aging out of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't watch cartoons, and it went on, and there was Captain America shows up, and Cable's there, and the Phoenix Saga, and I don't remember any of that stuff on the show. I know it happened, but I don't remember it.
I remember some of it, especially that Phoenix Saga. I feel like that replayed like over and over and over again when I was a kid.
Really?
I always saw the fucking Phoenix Saga, and I was always like, "Can I see the other things?" Because I didn't love the Phoenix Saga because I don't like Jean Grey that much,
Right?
And I never have. I'm like, can we go back to like Storm? Like, what's she doing?
Yeah, what's she going?
I don't need this. I don't need Scott being like Jean, and then Wolverine being like Jean, and then Jean being like, eh. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, the only thing I can remember from the animated series, Storm is when there's a scene where like.
Is it the flashback where she gets trapped into the wall and that's why she's claustrophobic?
No, I just remember her being in the mall with Jubilee, and she's like, "I'm going to the bookstore."
Yeah.
And then she goes to the bookstore, and I don't know what she reads, but she goes to the bookstore.
I like when she becomes like the leader of the Morlocks or whatever. Like that whole thing's in there.
Is that on the cartoon?
Yeah.
I don't remember
because
that.
like Cyclops goes down there, and because his powers are apparently fueled by the sun, he actually loses them, and like Jean comes to get him at the very end. She's like, "You have beautiful eyes," because she can finally look at his eyes without him like zapping her in the face.
And he's like, "Oh no, they're red." Blah.
Yeah, but like Storm has to like fight the lead. I forget who it is.
Callisto.
Yeah, to become like the leader of the Morlocks and
Right.
like the whole thing. Yeah, that's in the animated series.
Okay, yeah, I do remember her. Okay, I do remember it
Yeah.
now. Also, I remember the one time when her and Wolverine had a picnic.
Yes.
And it was those are the only 2 things I remember from the animated series.
Yeah.
I'm useless. But it comes out in 2023, so we'll never get that because the world will be a pile of pudding by then.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, we're gonna be pudding by then.
R.I.P.D.S.
Yeah, we're gonna be done. So don't get your hopes up
Yeah.
for Disney Plus's X-Men 97 because
Yeah.
it ain't happening.
Probably not.
But that's pretty cool stuff. And I want to see what else did we want. Well, we saw Last Night in Soho. Is it Last Night in Soho?
Yes.
I always
Yeah.
keep asking call it One Night in Soho.
No, it's Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, and that was a movie you really wanted to see.
I did really want to see it. I was expecting it to be a little bit more horror movie than it ended up being. Just based on the trailer. I guess it's based on that first trailer, because by the second trailer that came out, I was like, oh, I get what I'm seeing. But it was cool. I really enjoyed it. I think the ending kind of falls apart.
The ending, as I told you this,
Yeah.
the ending reeked of reshoots.
Yeah, kind of did.
It reeked of this tested poorly. We better go in and do something to fix this.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. It just, I mean, I could be wrong, but it felt very like, and now everything's better.
Right.
And
now it's everybody's happy again.
Yeah, and without spoiling it, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. Like this poor girl, I've actually felt really bad for her. You know, because she's going through this. You know, it's really like a pretty deep dive into like mental illness.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
You know, because the girl, you know, we learned like her mother committed suicide when she was young, and you know she is, you know she's she doesn't really know that she's suffering. Make sure she might have inherited something, some sort of condition, but you know it kind of really, you know, she really, you know, breaks down throughout this movie, and it's pretty intense.
Yeah. But no, it was cool. I mean, it was a fun movie to see. There were a couple parts where I was just like, but why is this happening? Like, why are you acting this way? You know, it is what it is. But again, it, like Sean said, it's kind of reeks of reshoots there at the end. But it was cool. I mean, it was interesting to see.
It's very interesting.
It was, you know, because that's the thing. It's not it's just different.
Yeah. It's an Edgar Wright movie. You know,
Yeah.
he does interesting things.
Yeah.
You know, he's not my favorite director. I feel like I follow Doug Benson on Instagram, and he's like, Edgar Wright's the best. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but like, you know, he did what? Scott Pilgrim. Like, I was like,
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's obviously done like, you know, Hot Fuzz
Yes.
and Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
You know, all those movies. But like, you know, some of the other ones I've seen of his, like, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. No, I mean, I always enjoy his movies. I don't know if there's any that I dislike. Just trying to think of the ones I can pull out of my head. I usually like his movies a lot. I think they're fun. They're interesting. I like seeing them, but I'm not like a super fan.
Yeah, I don't identify with some of the humor, maybe, or just like it's because it's all British stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe it's different. Maybe it just hits different for somebody like, you know, people are like Anglophiles and stuff. Like they really vibe with it. And I just, you know, I don't always vibe with his stuff, but it was good to see. You know, I mean, stylistically, I think there was definitely a lot of Suspiria influence.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I feel like that was really something that he was probably trying to imitate.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm here for that. You know, give me that all day because you know Dario Argento is the fucking best. But
right.
Good stuff. And I think that's about it as far as medias goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's take a break. We'll come back with a book for this week.
We Are Venomaniacs is the Venom Site official podcast for all of your symbiote news, reviews, and point of views about Venom-related comics, movies, television, animation, and merchandise. We are available on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Join us, won't you?
All right, we're back here on Worst Collection Ever with our book for this week. It is Doc Samson, #1 from January 1996. Why am I doing this? Why are we doing this? I don't know. I decided I've had this for a while. I think maybe I had all four. This is a miniseries. So maybe I had all four of these. And I just figured, you know, hey, let's clean out some of the dreck of our collection.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a perfect example of that because it's mid-90s. It's not just Marvel. It's a Marvel Edge. This is like when in the, you know, the mid, like 96-ish, they kind of like siloed all these like different, you know, all the different books.
Mm-hmm.
And so they put like, you know, the Avengers in the thing. They put the X-Men and, you know, all the mutants in the thing. I think they took all the supernatural stuff and put that in the thing. Or maybe Ghost Rider was a part of this. But they put the Hulk and, you know, like Punisher and all that stuff. And they put them in the Marvel Edge because it was going to get edgier.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 90s. And it's represented on this cover with the Hulk. He's, of course, here because Doc Samson. And Doc Samson is fighting the Hulk. And I put
so what is the deal with, well, go ahead and tell me this, but then tell me what the deal with Doc Samson is.
Well, I was just going to say Doc Samson here is wearing the red outfit that Britney Spears wears. And oops, I did it again.
100%. And his hair's even done the same way.
Yeah. So
got a ponytail.
Yeah. So, you know, he's shouting it out. He's like, you know, fighting the Hulk. He's like, free Britney.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got freed.
Yeah.
It happened.
It did. Good for her.
Good for her.
Good for her.
But yeah, so that's the first thing I've noticed. Look at this cover. Which he doesn't wear this in the book. He just kind of wears like clothes.
Yeah.
But he's dressed in this red bodysuit for some reason. So what's Doc Samson's deal?
Yeah, what's this guy's deal?
So he's a psychiatrist. That's his main thing.
But he's also like Samson?
Well, he changed his name to Samson because that was like a nickname because he had long hair when he was a kid. He was a hippie. So there's something where he was brought in to like, and it doesn't make sense because I was just reading it. He was brought in to like save Thunderbolt Ross, Betty Banner, Betty Ross or whatever, save her from being a crystallized version of herself. And they needed gamma radiation or something. And so they drained it from the Hulk, and it actually cured the Hulk. But then Samson was like hanging out, and he was like, you know, it'd be pretty sweet is if like I turned this on myself because I could be like a superhero and shit. Which is like the dumbest thing you could do because literally you're just like, I'm gonna put a bunch of radiation up my ass, and that probably would kill you, as it should have killed Bruce Banner.
Sure.
But he turns it on himself, and then he becomes like super strong, and his hair is green. And apparently, I've never seen a book. Anything I've read him in, I've never seen it where somebody cuts his hair and he's like, "Oh no, I'm not that strong."
Well, somebody even asks him that in this book, like, "What happens if somebody cuts your hair?" Because, like, the Samson from the Bible, isn't that the whole?
That's the whole gimmick, and it's
the
actually
whole gimmick is if somebody cuts his hair, he loses his strength.
But I feel like
I bet he was rocking a man bun. I bet nobody made fun of him for his man bun.
Well, you know, he probably was also not creating artisanal sandals or whatever it was.
We don't know what he
back
was
then.
doing. I'm sure anything that you did back there was
You don't
considered
remember that
artisanal.
from the Bible when the artisanal sandals?
Well,
section?
I think that because everything was handmade back there and everything was by default artisanal.
Oh, okay.
It's everything's small batch.
Well, I feel like
Small batch, artisanal, sandals, mead,
unleavened bread,
there's
carpentry.
There's a whole bunch of other fucking weird shit.
Jesus, the OG hipster.
Yeah, 100%. Dude's walking around in sandals with long ass hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, okay. So he apparently that does affect him.
Okay.
Because it's according to like the Marvel Wiki or something. I remember like I had like the trading cards for all the superheroes. I think I still have some. And like on the back of his card, it's like, did you know that his hair, because if it's cut, you know, it drains his energy or whatever. I've never seen a comic
where that happens.
Where that actually happens.
Yeah.
So he kind of goes around like just being that way, but he's also like a psychiatrist. So like he is, he's helpful to all like these superheroes, and he like, he'll fight, but he's not really like meant, as you could tell from this book, like he's not really meant to fight.
Yeah.
But he does.
Well, I mean, it's not that he's like, he just doesn't see himself as a superhero. He sees himself as a psychiatrist, but also an expert in gamma radiation. And I'm not sure how those two things come together.
I don't know. It's
Sure.
It's kind of like when I graduated high school, or when I was about to graduate, and there was like a thing, like a newspaper or something. It was, and they highlighted JFK graduates or future graduates. And I put in there that I was going to be, majoring in radio and political science. And my mom was really upset by that.
Why?
I don't know, because I think they wanted it to be anything but radio,
Okay.
But I remember her being like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, you put that in there." I remember this distinctly.
What were you supposed to put in there?
I don't know, doctor.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess. Were you ever thinking about becoming a doctor?
No.
Oh, well, then what the fuck, man?
I don't know. I don't know. Football man.
Yes, I would like to be football man, please.
I was like, well, Sean, you played football. You could be a man in football.
You're a man who also football.
Yeah, I mean, or whatever she wanted to be. I don't know which. I don't know. That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a deep dive into my psyche as to what my mom actually expected me to be.
Yeah.
Maybe I need Doc Samson to help me figure that out.
Maybe.
And then maybe you could turn me into the Sean Hulk.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. But I remember I put those two things down, and I was like, no, don't you understand? I'm going to go into radio, and then I'm going to do political science, and I'm going to combine the two and be a political pundit on the radio.
Wow, that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because there's only one way you can go.
Yeah.
Either you get a podcast, and so then you're Chapo Trap House, or you're a fucking Rush Limbaugh wannabe.
Right.
Those are the two options you have.
But I already decided by that point I just wanted to be in, radio, like for music.
Yeah.
That was like my thing. But I had a minor in something.
Yeah.
So I put that down, and then I just, and then I just said fuck it at some point. But that's what I'm figuring. That's what he's doing. What he did for his life. Doc Samson. He was like, you know what? I love
psychology and radiation.
How do I combine the two? Oh, look, there's a green man that is triggered by his psyche to turn into an irradiated green man.
Yes.
This is perfect. I am the expert.
Yes. I've been training my entire life for this.
It's kind of like when you read there's something like this meme where it's just like the perfect job doesn't exist, and it just says some woman says garlic bread expert.
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of what I figured what Doc Samson's doing here.
Yeah.
Like he's done with his life. He's just kind of like, yeah, I'm an expert in gamma radiation and psychology.
Man, that's what I got.
Man, that guy's green.
That's what I got to do. I got to figure out how to put all of my interests into one thing, but I don't know what that one thing would be.
Chris Maloney, SVU expert.
Well, I mean, but there's other things. I have other interests.
Okay.
Comic books, bad 80s horror movies, propaganda show with old detectives who will never fuck, even though that's all I want in my life.
Propaganda.
Goth music, and then
that's right, goth music. Can't forget that.
And Halloween
and cats.
Also clothing and makeup into one thing. What is that one
drag
thing?
race.
And how do I put these things together?
Shit, I don't know.
They don't. None of them go together.
Oh, maybe you have to start dropping a few of those things.
Oh, but I want to.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I'm happy to drop my propaganda shows because they're baiting the fuck out of me. I see what they're doing. I know what they're doing, and yet I still watch.
That's the deal with Doc Samson, though. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
And he also likes Britney Spears apparently because he's wearing her outfit.
He does, even though this is pre-Britney.
It's pre-Britney, yeah, definitely.
Because it's that definite that drawing style that was very popular in the '90s, where like everybody has like all the dudes have like those very angular faces and their hair is very articulated.
Oh yeah,
and yeah.
Well, as soon as we open up this page. The first page. And first thing I want to point out is the title of this issue or this book is called Greenest Envy. Is that a word?
Greenest?
Well, how do you see how it's spelled here? Greenest.
Not that I'm aware of.
Why can't it just be green? Like, what does greenest mean?
I don't know.
You know, like, I don't know. It just really confounded me because I'm like, that's not a word.
Yeah.
You can't just make up. I mean, granted, it's a comic book. You can make up any word you want, but it doesn't have anything to do with anybody.
Yeah.
It's green, but I don't know. But what we start off here is we're interspersing the first couple pages with a woman being chased by a monster in New York City in the East Village.
Mm-hmm.
And we intersperse that with Doc Samson at Northwestern University in Chicago, where he apparently is a teacher.
Yes. And he's giving a lecture.
Well, he's giving a lecture, but I want to point out, so this girl that's being chased, she is running, and the drawing is very confusing. Because she is she is contorted in such a way that I look at her body and I just wrote...
Is she running or falling?
I feel like she's running.
Oh, I thought she was falling, but
maybe she is falling.
But that would explain, that's how difficult it is to tell what's happening based on the drawing.
But her waist is so small. I just wrote, where are her organs?
They don't exist. Women in comic books don't have organs, especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they also have very large, like long butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like always a very long butt cheek.
What we get was her face in here, a Polaris in here, and she's like pretty much like that too.
Yeah, she looks like that too. And poor Polaris, like, she's just like, I need to talk to you. And he's like, nope.
Well,
is it because she's been knocked up?
No.
Oh.
No, it's because
that's usually why you call a guy and you're like, I really need to talk to you right now.
We were gonna talk about that.
You don't call men for other reasons.
You don't call and be like, hey, can you help me move this couch?
Not when you say I really have to talk to you. That is code for some bad shit just went down.
Well,
anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to that when
we'll get there.
But yeah, he's given this speech. So so as far as the girl goes, like she's being like chased or whatever
through I assume a sewer or a subway station. You can't really tell.
Yeah, and there's
he's
a green monster,
right? And there's a green monster chasing him, and while he's intercut with, Samson just being like, blah, 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 gamma radiation.
Well,
Something about not driven by sexual something.
Well, this is what he's trying to point out, because he's giving this speech, and he's like, yo, gamma radiation transforms, not only can you be risk of dying, and it'll fuck you up because it's actual radiation, but if you don't die, it will transform the host into, quote, a living vessel for the repressed alter ego.
Oh, God.
Okay?
Oh, no.
So basically, whatever your inner demons or your fears or your fantasies are, that'll manifest into like some sort of creature, but also green. So whatever your fear is or your desires or whatever, just imagine them as green.
Mm-hmm.
So if like if you're really like you're like me and you're full of anxiety,
yes.
Like,
how would that even work?
Like I would turn into some sort of anxious monster?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, because like if you were that anxious, would you actually be dangerous? You just kind of like huddle in a corner.
I'd just be really strong, so I could just bench press and be like, oh man.
You wouldn't even be doing that. You'd just be like huddled in a corner with anxiety. Just be like I'm assuming, because isn't that the idea, that it's like an extra expression? Like, so when Bruce Banner's the Hulk, he's full of rage and pissed off and super strong, and he just lets that anger fuel him, right?
Uh-huh.
How does that work with anxiety?
I don't know. We'd never see it. Just the same way that he reports
probably because it doesn't
that,
make any sense.
There's never been a case. He says there's never been a case based on sexual repression.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll turn into like a monster priest because of my Catholic guilt.
That could happen.
Like for some reason, I'm a monster that has but I have like a mutated head that looks like the Pope's hat.
I mean, I guess, but that's kind of just a priest. Like a monster priest can just be a priest, because God knows we've seen enough of them.
Oh no, I just turned into a priest.
You just turned into a priest, and you're just one of the bad ones.
Oh boy, but I'm green.
But you're green, yes. But you are also green.
Watch out for that green priest.
Yeah,
that's something. But yeah, he points out this because he's using the examples of the Hulk. He was like, the Hulk's got inner rage, because the Hulk, like his mom was murdered in front of him by his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got so much pent up rage, and that's why he turns into, the Hulk.
Yeah.
But, She-Hulk, is a free spirit, or she wants to be, bombastic and outgoing and stuff. And Jen Walters as the person is really not.
She's a broad.
But she turns into a dame.
Yeah, she wants to be a dame, a broad. Body.
A gal.
Yeah.
A number.
A number.
Check out that number.
A number. I haven't heard anybody referred to as a number in a real long time.
Check a slice. Look at that.
Has anybody called anybody a slice ever?
I could see that.
A slice.
I feel like. So, and then, we have Abomination, who is apparently he's an ugly monster because he has a lot of self-loathing. That could be me.
Oh, I would definitely be the self-loathing monster.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sure more than one person could be a self-loathing monster.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that's what I would be.
Yeah.
Either that or I'd probably just be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'd be terrible gamma monsters.
Well, what is a fucking nightmare monster? Because that would be me. Is it just like a green me walking around being like, penises, like making jokes about dicks? Like, how does that... I hide my inner pain behind humor. Ha 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 ha.
Well, maybe,
like, is that what's going on?
Well, here's the thing. Maybe you would be really good at doing dick jokes, or talking about your, like doing jokes about your libido, or something, or about sex or whatever. But you'd be green, and then you get yourself an HBO deal.
Fuck, man.
So you'd be like...
Well, I mean, I could get myself a Netflix special at this point.
Oh, I think everybody gets a Netflix special.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for mine.
Oh,
but
right.
I mean, I could get one probably before, like you're waiting in line. I could jump the queue.
Yeah.
Because I'm green.
Yeah, they have a special queue for green people.
They totally do.
For green comedians, come on. Come on in. We're Netflix.
We're Netflix. We love green comedians.
And physically green. We don't mean just you're new.
No, yeah. We mean like you're literally green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's pointing this out, and I just wrote there's never been a case based on sexual repression. How convenient. Because it just happens that when he walks outside, well, we'll get to this in a second because I want to point out the post meeting.
Yeah, somebody wants him to bend an iron bar or some shit.
Okay. So everybody, so he finishes
or like a girder.
He finishes his thing. He finishes his speech, and so I think he's been like a standing professor here because I thought he was just like a speaker, but he's like a standing professor here, and so everybody's like, "Oh my god!" So they immediately rush him and start asking him questions like, "Are you stronger than the thing? If I cut your hair, does it thing?" And so, but there's a guy there that brought his own steel girder.
Yeah, a little piece of a steel girder
to be bent, and I just wrote. This is why it's great writing notes because I get to remember my stupid jokes.
Oh yeah.
I just wrote. So, guy brought his own steel bar. Somewhere a building collapses. Parentheses 9/11.
No. Oh my god! Did that guy cause 9/11?
Yeah, it wasn't the jet fuel. It was a guy.
It wasn't the planes.
He pulled out.
It was some random guy being like, "I gotta chip off this piece of girder so I could go give it to Doc Samson so he could bend it."
Oh no!
And then as he's
national tragedy.
As he's walking away, and it just collapses, and he walks away, just whistling. It's like, doo, 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 doo.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Nonchalantly pretending not to notice the building collapse behind him.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well.
So, but this guy's got a fucking girder.
That's very funny.
Yeah, and he's just
very funny.
He's just hanging out with he went to class.
He
with
did
a steel bar.
With a steel girder because he
probably sticking out of his backpack. He probably took all his books out. Didn't have any room for his lunch.
I mean, you have to imagine it's got to be heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've never picked up a steel girder.
You think
I assume it's heavy.
And I feel like Doc Samson would have seen that guy and would be like, "Oh fuck, it's a steel girder guy again."
You would assume, like that guy's probably like bringing a lot of stuff up to him to bend, just like Bender in Futurama, where he's like, "I am Bender, insert girder."
Right.
Except this guy's just like bringing it. He's like, "Here's a pole. Can you bend this pole?" And then he says yes. And so then he bends it, so he's got to get a girder. So then he bends the girder. He's got to find something bigger than a girder. Like what's something thicker than a girder?
A beam?
Sure. He goes in. Somehow this guy's gonna lug a beam over to, but he just keeps bringing him shit to bend.
Yeah. Well, go say, probably, just maybe he's got to hook up with the construction company. He's like, "Yo, it's pretty sweet. Every time I go to class, my teacher bends stuff for me."
Yeah. Well, I think he's just like, man. Maybe he's got like a bet going. Maybe he like has a pool where he's just like, "All right, I'm gonna try to get him to bend whatever the thing is," and like people bet on it, and he just like wins all the time.
Yeah,
because Samson can continually bend.
Well, that's
things.
Wait, well, why is he? If he's betting on it.
Well, he bets his friend. He's like, "Hey, friend."
But but his friend knows that Doc Samson's a superhero, probably.
Well, maybe
he's a publicly known superhero.
Maybe they're saying there's a limit to his strength. Maybe people don't believe he's going to be able to bend the girder. Maybe they're like, "Yeah, he bent the."
Well, maybe he brings an adamantium girder and he can't bend it.
Exactly. Maybe he goes to he gets the vibranium. Maybe he wants to see if he can bend fucking vibranium.
Yeah.
Like that's
maybe he steals Cap's shield.
Exactly. Maybe they're just like, there has to be a limit to this man's power.
Captain America's just like, "I've misplaced my shield," and just there's a gentleman walking away with it. He's like, "Oh, can I give this to Doc Samson? He said he wants it. He said he needs it. He just like Rocket says, I need that guy's arm."
Yeah.
that's this guy. It's like he says he needs it.
He says he needs it.
Anyways, so he leaves his thing. He leaves his talk and he walks outside and I wrote, "Spicy New York detective Trina Sharp."
It's basically Olivia Benson. She's got a leather jacket.
She looks like Olivia Benson.
She does. She's got a leather jacket.
Season what?
Whenever her hair started getting short, like 3-ish, maybe 3, 4. She's got short hair and leather jackets, and she's there to tell you, this is what I found unbelievable, that the New York Police Department would spring for a plane ticket for this man and send a cop.
Surprised they didn't send the Fung Hua.
Exactly. Send a cop all the way out there so she can hand him a plane ticket and then leave.
No, she didn't even hand him. It's at the airport.
Oh,
he goes to pick her up at the airport. They just sent her there just to tell him.
But she hands him something.
She hands him.
I thought it was a plane ticket.
What does she hand him?
I thought it was a plane ticket.
he hands her. Oh no, he hands her something. He writes down the number to the Avengers.
Yeah, but I thought she gave him the plane ticket. It's like, you have to be here,
No.
or the plane tickets at the airport.
She said the plane ticket's at the airport, but
which that's not a thing that could ever happen today. I don't think.
no, because it would just be on your app.
Yeah.
She would
So
just let's tap phones.
But so the NYPD paid for a round trip ticket for this detective. Instead of just picking up the phone to their colleagues in Chicago, they sent this woman out so she can sit there and track this guy down so she can talk to him for literally 2 minutes. Then she gets on a plane and flies back to New York and just waits for him to
Wait
get
for
off.
him, and after he tells her, he tells her no.
Yeah, he tells her I'm not coming.
He's like, I'm not coming. And I like the part where she just reacts. She just goes, "You son of a bitch," or
Yeah.
something like that. 'Cause he's like, I'm a doctor. I'm not a superhero. And she's like, "You cocksucker." And so he's just like, "Here's the number to the Avengers.
Yeah.
1-800-HEROES."
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's true.
That's really funny. I hope that is their number.
It doesn't make sense because
It doesn't make sense. It's not enough numbers, but let's
No,
pretend.
it's too many numbers. Because you only need HERO.
1-800.
HERO.
Don't you need 1-800-555-HERO?
Do you need extra numbers?
I think you do.
Oh shit! I don't know how
Yeah.
phones work.
That's because we never call anyone.
Oh, that's right.
So they've just wasted a whole fuck ton of money. But I mean, it is the 90s, so I guess there was money to waste.
I I know that's the same. That's it was what's his face was in office.
Clinton?
Clinton was in office. He's like, yeah, man.
It's fine.
Let's just we'll give cops some money, get superhero plane tickets, let's fly them around the country.
Yeah. So Olivia
Who wants to go on
Benson
vacation?
leaves, and this Doc Samson's like, I'm going back to my apartment.
Actually,
Or his hovel or whatever the
that's
fuck.
actually I did write that.
Hovel?
I wrote Doc at Doc's apartment /hotel/hovel.
Yeah. Because I'm like, this place has a Murphy bed.
But he mentions-
if anything has a Murphy bed, it's this apartment.
It definitely does look like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like an office or something because he goes. It looks like a motel. Like he pulls up to. Like you see the outside of it.
Sure.
And it's like a motel.
Oh man, it's one of those like extended stays.
But if he's a doctor or if he's he has a. I mean, I assumed that he
That's why
lived
I
there
thought
because
he
I
was
thought
like a guest lecturer because all these people came up to him. So if he was their regular professor, they wouldn't be so excited to see him.
I don't know, but apparently he shoots down all the questions.
Well, that's what I mean. I thought he was a guest lecturer and he wanted to talk about gamma radiation. People want to talk about his hair.
Yeah.
So he was like, fuck this shit.
He's like, tenure, man. This is all I'm here for.
Going back to my shit hovel because I don't think he actually teaches here full time.
According to the Marvel Wiki that I just read,
He does.
he does. Or he
Well,
did.
then
Or at some point.
did he just... Well, this is issue 1, so maybe he just moved to town.
Oh, maybe. It's true.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, he hasn't
maybe
found
his
an
stuff's still in a
apartment
pod.
Yeah. His pod got lost.
A green pod.
Do you remember that time where I was working with that guy and his pod got lost?
Yeah, that sucks. I'd be so angry.
And he was so bad. He was like trying to call
Rightfully so.
and find where his pod was. It was like this 2-week thing where he was on the phone for hours trying to find his fucking pod.
Man.
Which he eventually found.
I would be so mad.
He was pretty pissed.
They better give him all his money back for that
I
shit.
don't remember what actually happened, to be honest with you.
I want
assuming that's
justice
what
for him.
happened. I think he got justice.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Pod justice,
Pod justice.
which could also be a show. So he goes back to this hotel or whatever, and the Hulk is there, and the Hulk knocked down his door. So there's that. And also for some reason, and I'm looking at, and this drawing is unexplained.
That he looks like he has bandages all over
Yeah,
him?
he has ticker tape paper on him or something.
Yeah, it's just
was he doing
like a
old timey
streamer?
taxes?
Maybe.
He's like just whatever, type it on
The scene that we missed right before this is where he was wearing one of those old green visors and he was typing in one of those things that has the tape.
He's like, we're short $40.
Yeah, exactly. And then he just put it on his head.
Yeah, he's just wearing ticker tape for some reason.
Yeah.
And he's there to tell Captain, or he's there to tell Doc Samson. He's like, yo, you better go to New York.
You got to get to New York.
Even though that's another thing too. Why couldn't the Hulk have just been there to tell him? Why couldn't they have sent the Hulk?
Right.
Right. The Hulk doesn't need a plane. Hulk could just jump.
Right.
They could have saved so much money on plane tickets.
There's also this weird, because we're at this point where the Hulk is now able to talk and communicate normally in the Hulk visage.
Yeah.
But then, like, he starts getting mad.
Right. And this is something where, so at some point, Doc Samson was able to combine all three of his personalities. So he had
three?
Well, because at the time he was Bruce, he had the Hulk, and then he had Mr. Fix-It. The Gray Hulk.
Oh, I am not familiar with that at all, because I'm just thinking Bruce and the Hulk.
Right. And so he managed to somehow meld all three of those, and it resulted in the Hulk being like
Smart Hulk.
Kind of like how it is in
Avengers.
And I think Endgame.
I think it's Endgame. Yeah.
Endgame, where like the Hulk's like he's still the Hulk.
The Hulk looks like he's doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The podcast.
Podcast Hulk.
He wants the Hulk to go, or he wants Doc to go to New York, and the Doc is like, no. You should deal with it because it's kind of shitty here. I think maybe it's a little bit shitty. He's like, you invented the gamma bomb. You go deal with this monster.
Right.
And it's like, well, wait, so do people that invent things have to deal with those things? Is that what he thinks?
I mean, there could be a case made for that.
Like, so it doesn't mean like when Steve Jobs, since he invented this iPad, that if my iPad breaks and I'm like, fucking Steve Jobs, get over here right now, and he'd be responsible for that? According to Doc.
He's dead, so.
Well, okay. Okay, so do I have to do a seance to contact Steve Jobs to fix my iPad?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it depends. I mean, you got to call Mark Zuckerberg to the table when Facebook gets used to, encourage an insurrection.
Right. Okay. Right. But I mean, what if you're trying to use back in the day when you're trying to use Farmville and it wasn't working? You call Mark Zuckerberg for that too.
Yes, you should call. Yes, you should call Mark Zuckerberg whenever Facebook does anything wrong.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
That's the Doc Samson way.
Yes.
Okay. And so so he's like, no, I don't want to do it. Fuck you, Hulk. And
also, it's not fucking called Meta. It's called Facebook. Fuck you. Sorry.
For some reason, that was a very like Dave Chappelle delivery. You're like,
just really mad about it.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not calling your stupid platform Meta. You can suck my dick, okay? That's where I am on it. Anyway.
It's just like that they announced the Staples Center is going to be crypto.com.
Yeah, fuck you about that too. It's called the Staples Center.
Nobody's calling it crypto.com.
No one's calling it the crypto.com arena. Again, suck my dick for that. Some of these things, you cannot rename them.
You can't. Well, I always call the Bills Stadium Rich Stadium.
Yeah.
It's been named like so many different things at this point, but it's always Rich Stadium.
Well, that's Mile High Stadium is Mile High Stadium. It's been Empower. It's been Invesco. It's been a whole bunch of other shit. It is always Mile High Stadium.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah. No, I don't stand for that shit.
Yeah. Sorry.
So Hulk's like, go, and he's like, no, and so he punches Doc Samson, and it looks like
they like headbutt each other.
Well, right, but did this drawing here of him punching? He punches Doc, and it looks like he's spitting up coffee.
Oh,
because the way that the blood is colored, it looks like coffee.
It does. Maybe he just took a sip of coffee that we didn't see.
Or maybe the Hulk's mad because he didn't give him Starbucks.
I mean, Hulk technically is the one visiting. He should have brought the coffee.
He should have.
I mean, drop it in unannounced. You can at least bring me a cup of coffee.
Right. So they start having a fight. And this is where, and this is something's going on with the Hulk, where instead of like, even though he should just be staying green and mean, he reverts from being the mild-mannered, strong Hulk to a furious,
fleshy mass,
furious, angry Bruce Banner, who for some reason looks like Quasimodo because he only has like this one eye just bulging out.
It's real upsetting actually because I was like, wait, what's happening? And then we just turn the page and it's like, well, I calmed the Hulk down. And then he's the Hulk again.
It just fixes himself. We don't get to see.
We don't get to see what's going on or why. It's just, and he's better now.
Well, that's fine. Honestly, he's probably doing psychiatry. Which he's probably like, doing like.
Tell me about your mother, the Hulk.
Yeah, he pulls out a couch or whatever. He
just picks up a couch since he's a strong man.
Yeah, he picks up he goes into he borrows a couch from a furniture row or something. Just whatever.
Pulls out that Murphy bed.
Yeah, that's right, the Murphy bed.
Tells him sit on this,
Remember we saw that store in El Segundo and just sold Murphy beds?
Yes, I do. I do remember that. And I so wanted to go in that store, but it was closed every time we went over there because we only went over there at night to like go to that Chinese restaurant. That was really good.
The Murphy bed store is probably only open for like 2 hours or something.
You know, that Murphy bed store is like one of those, like it's open like 4 days a week, not even like 3 days a week from like 12 to 2. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those fucking, it should be a front for something, and it probably is.
It probably is, because how many people in El Segundo was like, you know what would be really great? A bed in my walls.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I you know what? I paid $1 million for this hovel in El Segundo.
I mean, I wonder if it was like some people going to that store who were just like, I'm going to turn my itty bitty tiny tool shed into an Airbnb.
Oh, maybe.
So I'm going to put a Murphy bed in it.
Business is picking up.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why it's here.
It's like, that's right. It's like, he's like, Airbnb is like, give me that money.
Yeah.
Murphy bed store. All right.
Yep.
I mean, Doc Samson bought one.
He did.
So anyways, Hulk convinces Doc to go to New York, and he also leaves him with a present from Betty for Hanukkah. For some reason. I'm like, for some reason. It's for Hanukkah. It's literally for Hanukkah.
Yes.
Apparently, we're close to Hanukkah.
Hanukkah gift.
And then this is something where I point. I'm the Hulk is or actually no, he doesn't. I'm sorry. Doc doesn't decide to go. The Hulk just like, look, you should go. I know you're a good person. You should go. But this is the thing. So the Hulk's walking out, and he's like, Len, I know you're a good person. And then he's like miles away in this picture here.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'll know you'll make the right choice. So like, he can't hear you.
No.
Also, he's got gamma-radiated ears or something.
I don't know. Sure.
And then we get a scene here, and I don't know. I'm assuming this gets fleshed out.
Yeah.
In the future issues or whatever, but there's a scene here with a girl
who's having like nightmares about that monster.
A punk rock girl I put down.
Yeah, because she's got like a Green Day poster there on her wall.
And she got piercings.
And I was trying to figure out, like, is she the monster?
I was thinking that. I don't think she is.
Well, no. Later on in the book, I kind of figured she wasn't, but it kind of set it up that she would be.
That's the thing. Well, because she wakes up and her sheets are all shredded.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I keep having these crazy nightmares about that monster. So I'm thinking like... she
sits there and monologues to herself about sleep.
Yeah, so I'm thinking she's transforming into, kind of like people who are werewolves, or like, we even saw it kind of with like Rose and Thorn. Do you remember like how Rose didn't know she was Thorn?
Right.
So I was thinking we were kind of doing one of those little numbers, but
maybe.
Apparently not.
It's pretty complex.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got a psychiatrist on the case.
Uh-huh.
I was positing that maybe she tore up her sheets because MTV canceled Alternative Nation.
Oh, shit.
And she loves bands.
I forgot that was a show. She does love bands. I mean...
Unfortunately, it was hosted by that now crazy person, Kennedy.
Oh, yeah. Didn't she go like total Luddite crazy?
I thought she went like super like conservative.
Oh, she might have, but I thought she was like one of those like, I don't have a TV, I don't have a phone, I don't live in your crazy world. But it's very possible. I feel like all of them got the weird fucking conservative brain rot.
Right.
So who knows?
So this is where the Doc goes to New York, and he gets picked up by the lady, the whatever, sassy Trina.
Yeah.
And
Olivia Benson. Yeah.
Olivia Benson. Uh-huh. And this is where he gets the call from.
Yeah, because she's like, well, I'm glad you came. And I'm like, so were you just waiting at the airport hoping he got on the plane?
That's the thing, right? She left.
Again, you could have called somebody in Chicago. You could have called this man on the phone. Why are you flying out to hand him a plane ticket and then just waiting at the airport hoping he got on the plane?
Again, a waste of taxpayer money.
It's just, I mean, there are no criminals in New York City, but apparently there's also no cops in New York City, as we find out, because she picks him up and she's like, well, I'm glad you're here. You're here just in time. We're driving. Now, he's only supposed to be helping with this one case, right?
Right.
Well, she's going to take him to a place where a dude's jumping.
Yeah.
And he's going to get out and help. And I'm like, so there's no other cop you can send to this?
Yeah, they don't have like negotiators
exactly. You don't have people who actually specialize in this shit. Like, you could, The NYPD has 40,000 people, and this woman and this dude are the only people who can go?
Well, I put down, she drives him over there, Uber for psychiatrists.
100%.
He just happens to be a psychiatrist en route.
Yes.
And this is where he gets the call from Polaris. And Polaris is calling him, and I just
to be like, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, I'm pregnant with a baby. It's got green hair.
Yeah, I'm pregnant. It's yours. I've already decided what I'm going to do. I just wanted you to know.
Yeah.
That's that call.
I just assumed they were calling about hair dye.
Oh, maybe they do have the same color hair.
Yeah.
Maybe they dyed their hair together and then had sex, and now she's pregnant.
Oh, they bonded over dye.
It was kind of like that scene in Ghost when they're like,
were they dyeing their hair together in the same sink?
Yes, exactly what it was. Instead of doing pottery, he was like sitting behind her and they were both dyeing their hair. It was very sensual. And then they had sex. Oh. Now she's pregnant. Now she's fucked.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can assure you, she's not pregnant here.
Here.
Oh, I mean, from what I understand, she is not shacking up with Doc Samson.
Then what the fuck should you want to talk to him for?
Because Doc Samson is a psychiatrist and she is a patient of his. Oh. And ever since there was an issue of X Factor, which she's a part of, Doc Samson was brought in to do psychological profiles, kind of like that episode of SVU.
Yeah, yeah.
Where they came in and they did psychological profiles for the members of X Factor, and he did one for her, and and she was, she felt he was a good psychiatrist, so she was like, "Hey, I need to keep seeing you." So
he does not have his voicemail set up to be like, "If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911."
I mean, maybe it's not an emergency.
Because that's usually what happens if you call your shrink and you can't get through. You hear that message,
right? Well, he picked up, and he's like, "I'm out. I'm busy.
Yeah. I'm busy. I can't fucking talk to you, Polaris."
And this is where
glad you're not pregnant.
She's like, "I'm glad you're not pregnant. Also, I'm glad you have giant leg ass high thighs."
Oh yeah, I don't understand why women were drawn this way. They've got these weird long ass cheeks.
Yeah. As we've alluded to, he goes, they instead of taking him directly to find the gamma-radiated monster and try to figure that out, the serial killer that is also a monster.
Yes.
They decide to stop on some bridge.
To help a dude.
Well, the police are like calling him a kid. And I'm like, that's not a kid.
Not a kid. That dude's a bald man.
That
guy looks like Jeff Bezos. What are you talking?
Oh no, Jeff Bezos has had enough.
Let him go.
It's like, you know what,
Jeff Bezos, why don't you come on down here? We can talk about what you need to be doing with your money.
Yeah, maybe we need to, kind of set you straight here, buddy.
But I mean, like, he's this bald man and everybody's like, "It's okay, kid." And I'm like, that guy's like 45 years old. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So Doc shows up and Doc's like, he tries to talk him down and he doesn't do a good job because the guy just jumps anyways.
Well, because at first they're like, "Oh, can you just jump up there?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to use psychiatry. Give me the bullhorn." And it totally doesn't work. So he ends up jumping up there anyway to catch his ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, we just should have done the first thing.
So thank you, Doc Samson, for saving Jeff Bezos. We appreciate your your help here.
Sure, I guess.
Also, possibly Michael Simon, the sometimes Iron Chef contestant.
Yeah.
I just saw his book in Barnes and Noble.
Oh wow.
So they get to the police station. As soon as he's walking in or whatever, somehow Doc Samson does not see She-Hulk standing in front of him.
I don't know how you
right into him, right into her.
I don't know how you could not see She-Hulk.
I don't know. I mean, she's a giant 7-foot green woman with tremendous hair. Look at all that hair.
It's great. She's got some great hair.
She has a lot of hair.
Yeah.
She's also, for some reason, wearing. It looks like she's wearing like a gun holster, like one of those gun harnesses.
Yeah.
Like the cops wear with a badge on it.
Yeah. Well, she's like their designated hero.
Well, she's a consultant. She was brought in to help with this too because she happens to be green and strong and gamma radiated. Yes. So she's like, "Oh, maybe you can help." So because he concludes, he's like, "Okay, they brought her in to punch this guy, but they brought me in to kind of like do the profile on him."
Right.
Even though I probably could have did it from not.
Oh yeah,
there.
He is so happy Because he's like, oh, finally, the pressure's off me. No one's going to give a shit about what I'm doing because now She-Hulk's here.
Yeah.
Like, he's so excited to see her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like he's like, oh
psyched.
man, I'm gonna do psychiatry. She's gonna punch a guy. We're gonna go to lunch. We're gonna go see SNL.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
Gonna make a weekend out of it.
Yeah. I like to hang out with She-Hulk. She seems like fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
And for some reason, She-Hulk she's not only wearing like the cop harness, but she's also wearing looks like planter gloves.
Yeah.
Like, I was
gardening gloves.
Yeah, gardening gloves. Yeah, I was trying to think what they're called. I'm like, gardening gloves, you idiot. She's wearing gardening gloves, and I'm like, or maybe I was like, is she like taking out like massive loads of trash, and she needs these gloves on her hands?
Possible.
Is she cleaning the police department? Like, what is going on?
She's trying to put that building back together after that guy ripped the girder out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's like, I gotta go. One of your goons in your class stole.
They came all the way to New York, ripped out a girder, and flew back to Chicago.
They knocked down they're doing urban renewal.
Yeah.
But I gotta put it together. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's basically, look, I'm here, to punch a guy, and you're here to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yes.
I do like when she's leaving. She's like, I'm just gonna go, I guess, patrol some rooftops or something. Because according to later, as we're about to find out, this monster, whose name is Patchwork. They've named him Patchwork.
Yes, because he's like, I guess he takes like 2 women a night.
Yeah, he takes 2 women a night, and then he kind of
like
Bawanabeasts them.
Yeah, he like cuts them up and like glues them back together. He kind of does like a Silence of the Lambs thing where he's making like a girl suit.
Oh yeah, they describe it as composite corpses.
Composite corpse.
And I just wrote Lego Creations / composite Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like writing these notes now because I just write these stupid things and I feel like I need to share them.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's very dumb. But yeah, she mentions though like he's in shadows, like he hides in shadows, and I'm assuming maybe She-Hulk can get a better view of him in alleys, by jumping onto rooftops because she's She-Hulk, or maybe taking elevators. I don't know. Mm-hmm. She's got a lot of ground to cover. Trina is showing him like pictures, and at one point she shows him something so gross. Yeah. That he wins the puke race.
He does. He goes and he throws up and he's like, you know what they say about Chinese food, about how you want something in an hour? He's like, they're wrong. Blah.
Yeah. He was like, Kung Pao chicken.
Yeah, he throws up. So,
So this is where one of the cops comes in and he's like, yo, the monster.
Yeah. He's struck again or whatever.
He's out in a boot.
We found him. So they've got to go like fight him. And this is like, then we meet the monster. And this is when I was like, oh, I guess it's not this chick, because he keeps calling like everybody girly girl.
Right.
Which is so for me, like there's an X-Files episode with this guy, Donnie Fafster, who is just a killer. He's not, but he's like really, he's a death fetishist is what Mulder calls him. So he's like into dead things. Mm-hmm. Like he cuts off fingers, he likes hair, and he's really disgusting. But he's like into redheads. So he like goes after Scully, and when he has her captured, he calls her girly girl. Mm. Right? He's like, there's nowhere to hide, girly girl. Like, I know, I've been in this house. And it's one of the most chilling episodes of the X-Files ever, because there's nothing supernatural going on.
Is real life.
Yes. That's what makes it so terrifying. Until they bring him back at a couple seasons later, and then he's like actually like the devil or something. But I'm just like, boo on that. I really like the idea that it's just the banality of evil. Like it's one of the most chilling episodes ever. I still remember it like perfectly. But anyway, so that's what I was like, oh, this guy is Donnie Fafster if he was an irradiated gamma monster.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so there's something that Doc says, though. He says, you can get a read on the psyche by looking at the monster. Mm. I feel like, and it's not determined yet, but the way that it's kind of set up in the beginning, it's like, oh, we've never had a monster, gamma monster case or whatever based off of sexual repression. Right. So we see this monster.
Yes.
And he looks like you remember in I think it's in Young Justice, I think, but I mean it's in the comics too. But when Martian Manhunter goes to Mars or reaches at Mars, or I think Miss Martian, she's a white Martian, like in disguise.
Yes.
And the white Martians are just like really grotesque, kind of looking.
Yeah.
That's what this kind of looks like.
Yeah, I could see that.
I put John crossover, maybe.
Sure.
You know, maybe John's there, and I go, maybe he just wants some cookies.
He might just want some Hydrox.
Yeah.
Good old Hydrox.
Yeah, come on. You know, if this was a Lego game, we'd have to have Doc Samson hunt down the Hydrox store and then run back, steal a motorcycle and ride back.
Yeah.
And give the monster some Hydrox, the sexually repressed monster some Hydrox, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
So they start having a fight. Well, first here, I have to point out because he's like, oh man, you need me to fight this monster, don't you? Because he's like, where's She-Hulk? It's like, oh, we called her.
She's on a roof somewhere.
I don't know. I guess you're going to have to hit this monster. And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
So he goes, Trina, the Hulk smack, because she's like something about like, maybe you go smack him around. He's like, no, the Hulk smacks around people. I'm Doc Samson. I apply psychology.
Right.
And he still punches this monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the monster's like girly girl, nice little girly girl or whatever.
Yeah.
And
is there like a dead woman like just laying there somewhere?
Well, this is what I didn't understand, because they're fighting, and then I feel like they jump up into another room, or there's a second monster.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure that out too.
There's a woman that's being like restrained and stuff, and the monster's like trying to watch girly girl, don't make me have to kill you yet or whatever.
Right.
And I'm just but in the same panel you see the green monster fighting Doc Samson.
Okay, I was very confused by that too.
Yeah, I didn't get it. He also for some reason talks like a Brooklyn gangster.
He's the thing.
Don't make me have to kill you yet. Have to kill you.
He's the thing.
Like he's in the West Side Story or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, it pretty much ends here because Doc and the monster like jump up in the air, and then he tackles the monster in the air.
Yeah.
And they end up in like the river. Mm-hmm. And it's,
and
potentially
they're like
damaging.
Underneath the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's where we leave it.
It's like, how are you going to get out of this one, Doc Samson?
They're like, I don't know.
That's the end of that.
Maybe She-Hulk will go dive in and pull him out.
Probably. I assume that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, or maybe Polaris shows up. She does show up, I think, eventually in the issues.
Yeah, good.
It's interesting because in the Marvel Wiki, I expected it not. Sometimes there's so many comics.
Mm-hmm.
So not every comic that's listed in there has a synopsis.
Yeah.
I totally expected this not to have a synopsis.
Yeah.
Big synopsises.
Really?
Yeah.
Somebody went through and really put in the time.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, Doc Samson's got a fan club. Who knew? Is the Samsonites.
The Samsonites.
Doc Samsonites.
They're really into luggage.
They're into luggage and Doc Samson.
Uh-huh.
They meet every Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
Actually, that'd be a great name for a podcast for Doc Samson.
Samsonites?
Samsonites.
Yeah.
You'd be like, do you like Samson? It's like, no, Doc Samson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though there's not a ton of Doc Samson media out there, but there's enough.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can cover it. But the issue has like a giant like synopsis. I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
This is too much for a book that like,
that nobody cared about.
That nobody cared about for a miniseries in 1996.
Yeah.
On the Marvel Edge banner.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed.
That was pretty short-lived, right?
It didn't last very long because I feel like that was around when Marvel got bailed out by Toy Biz or whatever, or they whatever happened, like they were bankrupt and then they changed things around again, and like this. Heroes Reborn and whatever. Fuck. So that's pretty much it. That's it for Doc Samson number 1 from January 1996. I don't know. Do you want to keep reading this?
Probably not. I'm gonna go with no.
I might just read the synopsises because I was thinking about like maybe I should want to read this because for some reason I tried to collect it and I had other issues. And maybe I still have more issues. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not very like it's kind of like an interesting concept of there being a gamma-radiated serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
It's very X-Files.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's not much of a character.
No.
He's just a dude.
Yes.
And he's fine with that, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't want to be anything else but just like a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be a dude. Dude man, Doc Samson.
Yeah.
But that's it for this week's show. Thanks for listening. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AngryHeroSean. And
I'm at Jen Stansfield on Twitter and Instagram. Find us on Facebook, Worst Collection Ever. And email the show, worstcollectionever@gmail.com.
I figured out how to do like there's an app called Headliner, and I figured out how to do like clips from the show and like post them like directly to YouTube and to like social media. And so it's something that I might try to do more often.
Nice.
So folks can hear bite-sized snippets of the program.
Ah, yes, the program.
And you might be it might entice people to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the plan.
Sure.
So, I'm trying that out. And also my YouTube channel, Angry Hero 79, which is where these clips will be posted.
Mm-hmm.
You can check them out there. And you can also find me opening up action figures because that's what I do with my free time.
Mm-hmm.
So, once again, folks. Oh, yeah, by the way, did I say the other part?
I don't know what other part.
Oh, that's right. You have to rate and review us.
Oh, yeah, that part.
On Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast.
Pod Punch.
Pod Punch should be a thing.
It should, right?
Yeah.
I assume Pod Punch will exist at one point.
Pod Punch. Actually, that'd be a great way for
podpunch.crypto.com or whatever the fuck.
No. I would hope to go to like a podcast convention and somebody's serving Pod Punch. Like that's what's instead of water they have Pod Punch.
100%. Yes.
You drink it and it turns you into that meme that you sent me earlier today. Of that girl answering a question or asking a question on a podcast.
Yeah, there was like, a host. It was like every podcast host asking a guest a question. It was just this like very long, like couched and like all this like, well, I know what you do, but this is what I also do. And there was no question.
I like the part where she's like, I don't want to reference some
New York
articles that I've read or I've also written.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's exactly how when I used to do the Monday Night Mayhem show, that's how Big Masha asks questions.
Yeah, it's very
exactly
accurate.
Yeah. And
this is why we don't have guests that often on this show, at least not ones we have to interview.
Yeah.
Because it would be the same thing.
I always like the part where somebody asks a question and they go, some people say. Some people. Who's that person? We don't know.
Some people.
Some.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are, but some people say.
The mythical they.
They.
Them. Those people, whoever they might be, we don't know.
They say things.
They say things that we're going to talk about them saying, but we have no proof that those people said the thing.
That's right.
Yes.
Anyways, folks, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.